Okay, so now that we reviewed how to pull out the elements that we need for a linear function from a table, so the slope and the y-intercept, let's put that together with what we're learning about systems of equations to pull out the information we need from tables, to write our equations, to then graph our systems of linear equations, and to find our solution to the system. So putting a lot of pieces together. And we're going to start with the word problem. I don't know about you, but I grew up in North Dakota, and summers in North Dakota can be pretty warm. And so I spent just about all day, every day at my local pool. And my parents, in their wisdom, I grew up with a large family. I have 4 siblings, so there are 5 of us. We're all very close in age. They realized that it was a very smart move to buy a family membership to the pool. And so we used the heck out of that membership. We were there all the time, those poor lifeguards. It was a great experience for me. Probably not so much for those lifeguards, but a great experience for me, and fantastic childhood memories of lots and lots of time. I love swimming. I love the water. And that's the topic, not me in the pool, but a family membership to a pool. So we have a family in Texas. Texas also can get quite warm. And the Flores family is talking about ways to keep their children cool during the summer and have fun. And they decide that they're going to purchase a family membership to their local community pool. So Mrs. Flores called the community pool and found out some different membership plans for a family of 6, because that's the size of their family. They have 4 children, 2 parents. The receptionist at the community center told her that there are 2 options. And option A, so we have our first option, is to pay $100 for the summer. And then $20 per visit. The second option, option B, is to pay $250 for the summer. And then it would be $5 per visit. So 2 options to consider. At dinner, the Flores family talked about how many times a week they think they will visit the pool and how many times total in the summer they will visit. How can the Flores family decide which option to choose? So, being mathematically minded, we decide, let's make ourselves a table and see if that helps us figure out which option might be better. So I've set up our tables for us. For option A and option B, we have tables for 0 to 10 visits. And let's see if that helps us figure out if either one might be advantageous. So if we choose option A and then end up, for whatever reason, not going at all, we're still going to be paying $100 because you paid that flat fee. Now, if we visit once, we have that $100 that we paid plus our $20 visit. So it would be $120, and then so on and so forth, filling out our table. So each visit is another $20. So you can see we're adding $20 each time. To get a sense of what our costs might be. Now for option B, again, if we for whatever reason select option B but never go to the pool, we are still paying $250. And then each visit after that is another $5. So here we can see that our value will go up or increase by $5 each time. Now, if we were presented with this table, how would we pull out the information we need for our equation? Well, first we might want to find our y-intercept. And remember, for our y-intercept, we're looking for the y value when x is equal to 0. So looking at our table, we can see our x value is 0. Our corresponding y value is 100. So our y-intercept is 100. And for option B, we can see that when our x value is 0, our corresponding y value is 250. The other value that we want to have when we are trying to write our linear equation is we want to have our slope. So our slope is our change in y compared to our change or divided by our change in x. So if we look at what's happening to our y value each time, we can see that we're increasing by 20 each time here. So every single time we added 20 for every increase in one visit. So that makes our slope (20/1), or we could just say 20. And for option B, every time our y value increased by 5, as our x value or our visits increased by 1. So that makes our slope 5/1, which we could just write as 5. So now we have everything we need to write our linear equations. And our linear equation for option A would be y equals our slope, which is 20, times x, plus our y-intercept of 100. And our equation for option B would be y equals our slope, which is 5x, plus our y-intercept of 250. Now, if we're paying close attention, we already know what the point of intersection is going to be, but let's go ahead and open Desmos and graph our two equations and see where the two lines cross each other. So I'm going to go into my browser. I'm going to type desmos.com. Go into the calculator, and then I'm going to enter my two equations. So y equals 20x plus 100. Whoops, I hit divide. So let's go ahead and fix that quick. There we go. And then in our next equation, it's y equals 5x plus 250. And now we can see that we don't quite have what we want, so we may need to zoom out in order to be able to see. So that hitting that minus, and then as we start to see our two lines, then we can start to play with our window Now I don't really need to see negatives. So sometimes I like to zoom into a realistic window because again, we're talking about visits. So I don't need to see negative numbers. And I can see where they cross. And Desmos is really a neat tool because I can just click on that point of intersection and Desmos will label it for me. So you can see I clicked on it and Desmos labeled it with 10,300, which matches up with our table because we saw that that point was on both tables. Now let's talk about what that means. So that point, 10,300, means that at 10 visits, both options cost the same amount. They both cost $300. But up until that point, notice how our blue line, which corresponds here with y equals 5x plus 250, see how that's above our red line? That means it's more expensive. It costs us more. And our red line is below. So that's the cheaper option. So if we are not going to go to the pool more than 10 times or fewer than 10 times, I guess we could say, then we should go with option A because we will save money that way. But if you're going to be like me and be at that pool every day in the summer, then it's well worth it for that family to go with option B because after 10 visits, the red line is on top, meaning it is increasing faster. It is going, it's more expensive. And the blue line now is below. It has now, it's at this point caught up in price. The red line is caught up to the blue line in price. And now this blue line is the better deal. So if you are going to be at that pool more than 10 visits throughout the summer, it is a better deal to pay more up front and less per visit.